Risha says, what tips do you have for getting an online course to run well, technology tools, and also figuring out what to price it at? Risha, do you want to come on or do you want us just to address that?
I'll just start talking, and then if you want to come on, you can come on. But it really just depends. There's so many ways to go about it. Like, are you going to create an audience first? Do you currently have an audience? And then are you going to sell a course? Okay, Risha says she'll come on.
So I'm working on creating a course to help homeschool moms have more peace in their hearts and homes.
Okay.
So I have like the outline so far, but I'm also running into a problem of not sitting down to work on it. I get distracted. It's like my heart project. So I think I'm afraid of being seen. I don't know. There's a lot of things that are all playing into that, I'm sure. And then also, I think I have like still some blocks about receiving. And like this morning, I had a little revelation that I was having like an allergic reaction to receiving, like, because I had like hives on my hands this morning. Because I've been trying to sell for another company as an affiliate, and I've been working on that pretty steadily, I guess, for the last little while. And I don't know. It feels like there's this huge block about selling anything, and that if it's going to benefit me at all, it's like there's this big wall, and I can't get it out. Like, so I invite people, but they're always like, no, not right now, or whatever, and so I feel like there's something like subconsciously that's like blocking that.
Okay. So there's a part of you that is passionate about this. So you said helping moms feel peace and what else did you say about homeschool? Peace and love.
Peace in their hearts and in their homes, so that they have like a happy homeschool experience.
Okay. And then you said it's a passion project for you or a heart project. What does that mean? Does it mean I don't need the money? Because that just helps us understand, like, because sometimes if it's like a passion project, it's easy, especially if there's fear, to just kind of push to the side and say, I don't really have to do this because, I mean, the brain is amazing. It will talk you out of things. If we down, because it's very normal for us to minimize something that is important to us, and that allows us to minimize it because it's uncomfortable to tackle it and swallow it. And so, what does that mean, that passion project?
Well, I guess there's probably like a fear of rejection going on, I think, because it's like, it means so much to me that I don't want people to not buy it. Like, I don't want to offer it to people and have people say, no, I don't want it, I guess.
Okay.
And
why does it mean so much? Like, what does it mean? What does this project mean? This business?
Well, I feel like God's been telling me to do it for over 6 years.
Okay.
So,
well, what does that mean to you? Like, why would you do it?
Because I know people need help.
Okay. And what does it do for you? Like, why should Risha spend her time doing it? Like, what are you seeing is the end result? Is it like, how we all have our reasons. Like, if you're saying God said you should do it, it's like, are you seeing in the future? Are you standing at the judgment bar and he's like, you didn't do it, Risha? Like, what do you see?
Well, that's part of it, probably. Like, even right now, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm trying.
Let me ask you this.
Do you really want to do it?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay. Like, even if God said, Risha, it's up to you if you want to do this, it just helps us get more information. Do you still want to do it?
Yes, I still want to do it.
Okay. So it's not just like you're going to feel guilty if you don't do it.
Yeah, it's definitely more than that. Like, I really do love helping people. I guess it's part of my own journey too. So I've felt really, really overwhelmed. I've homeschooled for 10 years now.
Got it.
And overwhelm was just like debilitating, even though like I'm an elementary ed teacher, like that's what I went to college for, but it was still really overwhelming at first because there was so much. There's also this thing of like, I want this business to take off and be able to have my husband come home and we can just do our ranch and do like a farm stay retreat for people and just really strengthen families and create this, like, I don't know, like freedom fighters, I guess, in a way of like having families that are super strong. So like, it's totally my passion. I really am excited about it. But then when I start trying to sell it, like I could give it away for free all the time. But for me to try to sell it, because I know that's important to be able to transition from my husband working full time at a job that he's not really loving. It's a good job, but he's not really loving it. But it's like, how do we transition from that into this business that I see this big vision for? Like, I see this awesome opportunity for people to come and strengthen their family and heal with horses and like tons of things.
Horses are awesome. They're very healing.
So like equine therapy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I just
Okay, so
see it as
I have some
so
questions
much.
for you. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So you have, some different ideas, and then there's like levels to them. It's like homeschool, and then it's almost, then healing with horses and equine therapy. And so would you say you're a hard worker? Like, are we lacking work ethic
Or discipline.
or discipline, organization?
Organization lacking, yes.
Okay.
Hardworking, no. I work
Okay.
hard all the time. Like I wish I had more hours in the day so I could do more.
Okay. So you've got work ethic down. Organization, somewhat. Okay. And then do you feel like you have the information you need to know how to sell? Like, have you studied marketing, selling? Do you think you have a good feel on that? Or do you need you're like, no, I need more?
I feel like I know quite a bit. It's like
Okay.
I got to get people to know, like, and trust me. I have to like offer them good things, right? Like, build a relationship.
Okay.
Like,
And how about numbers? Like, do you know numbers on like, I have to, reach out to this many people to get this many people to, it really depends on how you do it. It's like if you had a podcast, how many listeners do you need to get, or how many commercials do you need to have? Or like if you were growing a social media, I need to send 100 DMs to get 10 to 20% to respond to me. Then I can set up 2 to 5 calls, and then I can close one of those for like a higher ticket program. Or do you have numbers on things yet?
no, not
Okay.
to that extent.
Okay. And then, so how are you selling currently? Like, is it more word of mouth, or do
Or are
you?
you waiting to create it then sell? I feel like you
Yeah.
kind of mentioned that you asked some people, but I don't know that. Is that the case? Or are you trying to create it and then sell it?
Well,
It
I've
sounds like
kind of
there's a
put the
few
word
things you've
out.
sold. Yeah, go ahead.
I've kind of put the word out a little bit about the homeschool course. And so I have got a couple people like saying, yeah, I'm interested in that, but it's only like 3 or whatever.
How much?
But
How
then
much? What are you selling it for? What's the price?
I don't even know. That's another thing is like, I don't know what to even price it at. I don't know what people can afford. I don't like, and I get worried, like, is it going to be too high price and then nobody will get it?
Your word. Here's the thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I like to talk too much, so I know Kara has some thoughts. So
Well, how are you getting the word out?
Well, I've said some stuff in my homeschool Facebook group.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay.
I put it on my personal Facebook page. That it's coming soon or whatever. I'm working on it.
And how much time do you have to work on this project? Per day or week or?
Well, I haven't worked on it at all for a little while, actually. That particular course, because I've been focusing on the affiliate work that I'm doing with selling a program that's a mindset retreat type thing in January. So I'm trying to fill that right now, but I'm seeing all this stuff come up like the allergic to receiving thing this morning, whatever that I felt.
So,
and I think that has to do with me like trying to sell this affiliate program because it will benefit me. I'll get a percentage if people buy it.
Okay. So you're not able to put much time into it, or will you be able to?
Well, that's the thing is if I would probably like get myself to not self-sabotage, I probably could put like an hour a day on it, you know?
Okay. And then
I don't know. It's sometimes hard though because I do homeschool, so that's my top priority. So trying to juggle all that, I guess, is where I get sometimes a little bit like,
okay,
which is most important first, you know?
Yeah. So let's do this. I've been doing these. I love to study psychology and therapy and different things. Obviously, I'm not a therapist, but I've been studying a lot about internal family systems, and I think I sent you something on that. But
yeah, I did, and I listened to some of that book you sent too.
It's so interesting because we have these parts of us that are like, I'm really passionate about this and I want to do it. And then we have these other parts that can come in and kind of self-sabotage that. And so let's see if we can talk to the part of you that is saying, it's almost like you're saying it's self-sabotaging, you're sabotaging, but sometimes there are multiple parts working in unison to stop one goal. And so let's just see if we can get to some of those to express what's going on. Because it does seem like, so here's a question. Does it seem like your mind, your brain possibly uses overwhelm and maybe disorganization to kind of pull you away from something? Does it seem like that's happening? Almost like it's not the reason, it's more the strategy to stop you from doing something you're afraid of. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that feels very true.
Okay. So you've got, if things stay a little disorganized and I stay overwhelmed, then is your brain saying, I'm like, is your brain using overwhelm to protect you from something?
Yes.
Okay. And so if we ask that overwhelm portion to speak for you, because these parts they'll talk, it's like, okay, ask it, what's it trying to protect you from? It's got a good purpose. It just may need to be matured.
Okay. What is that overwhelmed part of me trying to protect me from?
Yeah. So just say, okay, there's a part of me that's overwhelmed and is using overwhelm to protect me. Would you be willing to step forward? And what are you protecting me from?
I'm hearing, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, good. That could be another part protecting. So is that the same part talking, or is there another one saying, don't talk to her, this part's overwhelmed. We got to protect the overwhelmed part. Or is it just the same part? Parts will protect parts to protect the self.
I think a part is protecting the other part.
Okay. And can you ask that part to step back for a second so we can talk to the overwhelmed part? Because we're trying to help it heal. And if it heals, it can release the burden it carries by spending so much time protecting that part. Or does it say no?
Mm, yes.
It says yes.
I feel lighter. Yeah. Like, yes. Feels like a
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So we're going to let that part of you know we appreciate it. It's protecting you. These parts of our mind and our brain, these areas will try to protect us from things. And so we appreciate it trying to protect you. But we need to talk to the overwhelmed part because it seems to come in and pull you away from things that you have a desire, to do. And so now can we talk to the overwhelmed part?
Yes.
Okay. And then how old is this overwhelmed part of you?
6.
Okay. And if you ask her, she's 6. Now, it's amazing because these parts of our mind will kind of go off and kind of do their own thing, but they're not aware that we have aged or we have wisdom or we have experience. And it's looking for our true self to come through and say, I'm here and I have this capacity, I have this capability. And you kind of talk to this part of your mind that continues to come in and say, you can't do this, or you're not good enough, or you're overwhelmed. Or so we're going to ask that overwhelmed part what it's doing to help you. How is it protecting you and why?
They'll hurt you is what's coming into my mind.
Okay. And who's they?
Um, I'm not sure, but I'm getting a sense it's a group of boys.
Okay. And then do you have any memories like you're at school or home or with friends where you felt unprotected?
I have a couple, yeah.
Okay. And then so we'll kind of ask a couple different questions, but if you ask the 6-year-old part of you that's still trying to protect you with overwhelm, and a lot of times they protect us with these things because they don't think that we can handle it. Like this Tara's not handling it, so I need to use overwhelm, and I'm now going to start taking over these situations because she's not there. I can't help her. So if you ask this part of you that's 6 years old, I'm here right now. Like, take a look at me. I'm an adult. I'm a woman. I have been here. I've always been here. Do you trust me to handle these situations? Like if there's this group of people who are going to be mean or mock me or do whatever they do you trust that I can handle this? And sometimes that part of you will just talk and say, yeah, but like you didn't do this and you're an idiot and what's your problem? And you say, I hear you. I totally understand. but I'm here now. What does she need to express to trust you so she stops using overwhelm whenever you get in certain situations? Like, what does she need?
The phrase "to be held" just keeps coming back to my mind.
Totally. And that's actually pretty common because sometimes growing up or older, we have a situation and we needed something, but we exiled that need because for some reason we didn't think we'd be loved or accepted if we said, hey, I need you to just hold me. And so sometimes in our life, we have to go back and be there for ourselves. And we learn to trust ourselves. And so if you go back to that young girl and you just hold her and talk to her, if you do that, and you can spend more time even off this call because sometimes you need to take a moment with her. And will she be willing to let go of overwhelm to
Mm-hmm.
protect you? Okay. So I want you to do an
Yeah.
exercise where continue to talk to this part because it's so crazy. You know, they talk about these medicines that are out right now, you know, the Ozempic and there's Zepatide, however you say it, these food medicines where people are losing a lot of weight. And they say, what I love is that it stops the food chatter. Their mind is talking to them about food. And, you know, we'll have these phrases where we're like, this is driving me nuts. Or there are all these different parts of us that talk and they try to protect us. And some of them, you know, are good and they're healthy and they're mature. And there are a lot of parts of us that they're younger and they're still using the same strategies that used when they were 6 because they've just kind of been exiled and we've never pulled them back to our consciousness and been like, hey, I remember you and you're okay. What if instead of overwhelm, tell me everything you need, anything else, tell me everything, this part of me that's overwhelmed, tell me it all. And then once it says, okay, I think I've expressed everything, then you offer a new job. What if instead of causing me to be overwhelmed, can you see what's happening? Like when I get overwhelmed, I stop. I'm not doing this thing I'm really passionate about. What if instead of you using overwhelm to protect me, you get on this project with me and you can see I'm a grown woman and I have this capability and the capacity. And you'll probably know already, like, what's the job that you can give this part of you and how can you integrate that 6-year-old girl in there where she almost kind of instantly grows up with you and goes, oh, we're older. We have this ability and that strategy stops. And it sounds kind of woo woo and a little bit crazy, but man, it's powerful stuff. And I've used it where I will see these parts of me come in and say, I want to do this, but oh, you can't because, and then I'll get protected, protected with overwhelm or anxiety. And sometimes the brain will use anxiety because it's like, you can't handle this. We need to use anxiety. But I'm like, I'm here. I'm teaching myself to be here for myself. And so I would challenge you with a few things. Okay. And then you can shoot me an email too when you work through these things because other parts will come up too. And sometimes you'll have overwhelmed part and you'll have a disassociated part and a lazy part, and they're all working in unison to stop you from this thing because they really think they're trying to help you. So when a part's speaking and it doesn't seem like it's on your team, you want to say, what do you need? How old was I? And then ask, what do you need? Until it stops talking. And then you give it a new job because it's burdened. It's a burdened by having to use overwhelm to motivate you to not do things that you really want to do. So, what are you saying? You know, how old are you, or where do you feel it in your body? And then, how do we let go of this? And then now, let me give you a new job to help me. And then you'll notice that those thoughts and things will stop, and then they'll start helping you. And then you can start tackling other thoughts that are coming in. And so, I would do that with that. Okay.
Okay.
So that's more of like mindset and tackling the mind and allowing these fears to just kind of work through and bring these thoughts that just stir and stir really to the forefront. And then the brain will try to solve that problem. And so there's so much going on when we just allow those things. So you're going to want to do that. And then you're going to want to set a goal because you have mindset. And then we talked about, are you a hard worker? Will you put in the time? If you didn't have a good work ethic, you didn't think you could trust yourself, you'd be like, well, go get a job and learn work ethic and watch how other people do these different things and then come back and start
We've
this.
experienced that with our
Yeah.
oldest.
So it's like you kind of,
That's what we're speaking. She's speaking from recent experience.
And so you have work ethic, you have the passion, but it seems like it's more mindset and organization. They're paralyzing you in some of these areas. Would that be somewhat accurate?
Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to want to talk to those different parts and you'll probably hit a few different ones and just keep talking to them. They get on your team and they start working with you. And then what's interesting too is a lot of times organization is a mindset. There's habit, and then there's also the mind distracting us or causing these different things to happen. And so what we want you to do is decide when you want to start this, how much time you have to put into it, because that will really determine what you can do financially. Because running a business is numbers. It's numbers, numbers, numbers. And it's like, how many people have you reached out to? If you're just kind of casually saying it, you're not going to get very far because people don't care. And we did that whole lesson on people don't care about your business. It's like they don't care that much. You really care. You're really passionate. And it's really hard to talk people in to caring about something that you're selling because we're protective or we're just like, I don't know, we don't even know we need it. So you're trying to find people who have the desire, they have the ability, and they can do it now. And so it's how much time can you spend on that every day? And so you might be like, you know what? I can't start for another year because I really want this to grow and I want to work 40 hours in it. Or you might be like, you know what? In a week, I could spend an hour every single day. And that will really determine what you can sell, how you can sell, and how far you can go into it.